Hey everyone, either welcome back or welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I want to talk about one of the hardest things for me to accept with IIH at the start, and that was that it wasn't my fault. So before I get into any more details, time for the intro. Back in 2018, I was diagnosed with IIH. IIH is short for idiopathic intracranial hypertension. In short, in IIH, there's an increased intracranial pressure without a known cause. IIH is known by two older names, pseudotumor cerebri and benign intracranial hypertension. Living with IIH is very hard to explain to others, as it can be hard to tell when I'm not feeling well. My hope is that through these videos we can learn together and help make relationships better through a better understanding. I also hope to provide people living with IIH a community so they never feel like they are alone with this condition. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell down below so that you get updated about further videos. I upload new content every Monday and Thursday afternoon. One of the hardest things for me to accept at the start was definitely the fact that having IIH wasn't my fault. It had nothing to do with anything that I had done or hadn't done. Accepting that it wasn't my fault was definitely one of the hardest things for me, because when I found out that IIH had such a connection to weight and obesity, and knowing what I know about keeping healthy that way, and because I had been through so much of that type of information in my degree, I really did think that having IIH was all of my fault. This has been a lot easier for me to accept now that this wasn't the only factor, because I have lost the weight. Yeah, it's a significant factor, but it's not the only factor. Having us take accountability for our weight is really, really important. I will back that to the very end. And even I've said from the beginning that if you're in the category of being overweight or even obese, that you definitely need to lose weight. And I've done that so that I can say that. And I've done that because I truly honestly believe that. Yes, I've had a huge amount of success off of having my optic nerve swelling go down, but I really, really think at this point that that is because of the medication. It's really hard to know for sure until I get my eyes tested, which I can't do because of reasons I've already talked about in my update. Not being able to have my eyes tested too is also scary, because there's always a chance that the eyes could be getting worse and we're not picking it up because it's not being tested. I've talked quite a bit about weight. I've shared my own journey since the start of I had my channel until it ended last year. I've actually also lost a little bit of weight since I stopped talking about the weight loss, and it's because now it kind of is like this a little bit, so it kind of goes up and down a little bit. It stays around about 133 pounds ish, kind of go down to 131 up to 135, but generally stays around 133. If you guys have been with me for a while, you will have known that I was working with a dietitian at the start, and my dietitian told me when she released me from her care, she said what I should look out for, what I should make sure that my weight doesn't get below, and what I was told was to not let my weight get below 130 pounds. And I've been pretty close to that point at some times during the past couple of months. So I've been watching it closely still just to make sure I don't get below that. And so the fact that the doctors are still kind of asking me about my weight is a little bit frustrating. My doctor at the time that I had, so my family doctor at the time, actually picked up on the fact that I might be struggling with this part of it, and probably knew based upon what I had been taking in school that I probably did feel like that it was a little bit my fault. I really, really did take this as it was my fault, especially when I found out the connection between IIH and weight. It was really hard not to. And I think that gave me the motivation, though, to work a little bit harder to get the weight off, just thinking that, you know, there is this chance that if I lose this weight that I could go into remission. I think that it's really, really important that people understand that this isn't something that you want to deal with, and this condition is really, really hard. I've talked about a lot of things now that comes along with IIH and aren't really mentioned all that much that goes along with it. When you briefly look into this condition, you think it's just headaches and some optic nerve swelling, and with time and effort and weight loss, everything just gets better, and the reality is that it's not. I think though for me, this was one of my biggest mental struggles, and I kind of talked about this when I did that video on mental health that I did. Because the weight loss is so emphasized when you're struggling with weight loss, while having IIH, there can be multiple different reasons. I'll get into them in a minute. But when you're struggling with weight loss and you know that you have the power to take something into your control, and that you feel like the condition is further holding you back, it can make it feel like this endless cycle. The reason why it can be difficult to lose weight with IIH is because some people do have an exercise intolerance with the condition, so their headaches will get worse if they exercise really heavily. Actually, even I have a threshold for this. Another reason is because when you're not feeling well, exercise is kind of not one of your main top priorities. I've learned that headaches are not enough for me to stop a workout. However, dizziness is. That's one of the things I've been struggling with a lot myself over the past couple of weeks. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. And as for now, that's it for today. Bye, everyone.